Can we meet you?
My name is Bilikiss Adebiyi Abiola, and I'm the CEO of Wecyclers.
Okay, so Wecycler in a few sentences.
Wecyclers is a social enterprise. We help empower households in low-income communities with their waste. We use a fleet of low-cost cargo bicycles to collect recyclable plastic and aluminum, and households receive redeemable points for their waste, and they can use that points to exchange for prizes. They can get household goods, they can get electronics, they can get cash.
So what inspired Wecyclers?
I think the inspiration for Wecyclers came from, I worked at a large company for several years, and I was always looking for what, I think people have said that, what is my purpose in life, You're working, you're going to work every day, but there's really no purpose. So I knew that, working for an organization was not really where my purpose lay. And I think it was, in a class I took while I was in school, and they were talking about, you hear a lot of stories about people's struggles, but you never know how to solve it. So when I saw people with solutions that are solving problems, I was like, wow, I can actually do something. And that's where and I was lucky enough to connect with some really, really talented people that worked with us to get the idea going.
Is Wecycler your first startup?
No, Wecycler is my second startup.
Your second startup.
Yes.
So if you go back in time, what is that one lesson you wish you had learned before starting your business?
I think the lesson, it's actually my third or fourth, because I have a lot of ideas that I will run with. But I think for me, what I would have learned is listen to the market. Study the market, because when my startup is always the first one I did was this recycling, actually also recycling, but it was for scrap metal, and it was a big operation. We need scrap metal recycling in Nigeria, but the market wasn't there yet. We had this huge plan, but the market was not there yet. So we had to think about, okay, what really can we solve now? So we had to kind of scale down our idea a lot. So I think the idea would be the lesson will be listen to the market, study the market, listen to the market. Yeah.
So, can we go now?
Sure. This is nice.
Thank you.
Okay. At a point, a business needs to raise external funding. What are your finance and funding rules? So I would say when you're trying to raise funding, you really need to be careful and justify the funding. So you want to raise, for example, 5 million naira. Do you really need 5 million naira? Is this something that you can get through partnerships, through, in-kind, strategic partnerships? And then if you really do see that you need funding, look at the opportunities that are out there. You can start with, angels. If it's a social enterprise or an NGO, it's possibly you could get grants, but then also look at valuation. As an entrepreneur, it's easy for you to get liquidated by external funders if you don't have an understanding on valuation, on equity, and most importantly on this is what I hold to my heart, because Wecyclers doesn't have any equity funders, and it's actually not because we haven't been approached, but it's because we're very selective. We don't want somebody that will come and just change our business around for us. So you have to look at these people, because these are people. Size them up. Do you like them? That's the first thing. Can you work with them? Do you guys have the same goals? Don't be blinded by the money. Don't be blinded by the check there. Yes, because if you don't do that necessary step, it could come back and bite you, because the people can come, change everything around, and mess up the business.
So the last one.
Last one. Okay. What is your favorite aspect of being an entrepreneur, and what has been your most satisfying moment in business? Wow, because your questions are out of control, man. I would say, really cool questions. Wow. I'll say my favorite moment aspect is having control over my time. To be honest, I work on weekends. And let's say I had a really tough day yesterday, I can choose to sleep in a little bit and get that rest I need, because I know I'm going to make it up on the weekend, at night, whatever. So I love that part of it. And the most satisfying moment in business has been, I think so far, when people come in, my colleagues at work, And they're talking about Wecyclers, and I think, wow, 2 years ago, this thing was just an idea. And I'm seeing people talking about it, passionate, it's part of their life. You know, people are, you know, there's passion of some people. And sometimes, I'm not a crier, but I would have been crying because I'm like, wow, that's awesome. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So the
Thank
last
you.
one, if you had to advise a girl looking at you about entrepreneurship, so what would you say to her? Advising a girl about entrepreneurship, going into business as a young girl. What would you say to her?
If I were to advise a girl of being an entrepreneur, I would say you gotta have confidence. You know, as a woman, it's you know, people don't want to accept, but it's really tough, especially in a male-dominated society like Nigeria. So you have to be tough. You have to have confidence in yourself. Don't listen to anybody. If anybody is telling you what you're doing is wrong or whatever, don't listen to them. Listen to yourself and be fearless. Be fearless.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.